No, no, no. It's Friday. Friday, everybody. Nice to see you on this, the 15th day of December, the year of our Lord, 2023. Hi. 2023. What is that? Is that 100 years after Prohibition? Hey, buddy. Lochlin Cross joins us with his harp. He's got the old harmonica out. I feel like I'm going back 100 years. It's a nice sound. It's a nice feel. God, I love
I'm in the wrong key. I don't know what key he does that.
You're in the wrong gear. Is that a Pogue
dirty
song?
old town, dirty old town. Have you seen all the Shane McGowan stuff?
Oh, dude, it's been like a Shane McGowan loving. Lead singer of the Pogues died last week. Massive funeral. It was live streamed. Yeah, you're a big Pogues guy. I'm a big Pogues guy. It was sad stuff. Still love the harp. Do, 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 do. I wish I could play
dogs barking.
Dogs going nuts.
So he put aside $12,000 for. He's like, shut up, old man. Enough with the face piano. It's annoying.
He's telling you to shut the fuck up. He's trying to have a snooze downstairs.
So Shane McGowan, in his will, they had the funeral, and then they had a gathering at his favorite pub in Ireland, and he left $12,000 for the bar tab.
Yeah. You wanted everybody to go and have a great time and remember him by getting drunk and singing songs and playing instruments and sitting in the pub, which is what he loved the most. He's one of the all-time greats. Shane McGowan was like, it's funny because like when someone like that dies, you haven't heard from him in a long time. You're like, oh my God. And then you go back through their catalog and their music. And then you hear these stories about things that they used to do. And that was one of my favorite stories that come from his funeral. Not only just the people that came to celebrate him, which was awesome. It was in this
They were dancing. They got up and danced at his funeral.
Yeah. They danced at this guy's funeral. But then he's like, you know what? I'm going to leave 12 grand in my will to cover all the food and all the booze and all the Jameson. Go and remember me and have a great time. That's how I want to go. Even though I don't drink. That's how I want to go. You guys go party, tell stories, have a good time.
I remember a quote from him, and I'm going to screw it up, but probably. they were asking him about being drunk on stage.
Yeah.
And it was something about being sober versus being drunk.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh, we're way better sober, but it's not as much fun." So we get drunk.
It's super true, isn't it? Super true. That was a tough loss this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of drinking, I just wanted to bring.
For a
yeah,
while.
what did he had a cancer, didn't he?
Well, I think he died from complications of pneumonia, but in the last couple of years, he's been pretty sick. Right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
I don't think you can go that hard for that many years.
It was like Lemmy from Motorhead when he died. I was like, well, of course, he should have been dead like 30 years ago.
Well,
just rocked it.
The Lemmy thing is interesting because he went to the doctor finally, and they ended up figuring out that he had cancer and took him really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time he ended up at the hospital, there was nothing it could do, and it just destroyed him in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that happened, I think it was the year before he passed away, because if I remember correctly, he died in January. But the year before, we were on the air talking about the fact that he had some kind of blood disorder, and the doctor obviously when you're dealing with a drinker like that, right? You're not going to have a lot of success going, hey, Lemmy, maybe it's time to slow down there, eh, buddy? But the doctor said to him, he said, for some strange reason, this hasn't killed you yet. And I don't want to encourage you to continue drinking because it's probably bad for you at this point. But Lemmy, I think the booze may be of keeping you alive because it's been thinning your blood.
Yeah. Yeah. In 1980, Lemmy was diagnosed with something that it was a blood that was toxic to other human beings. And in an interview with Time Out, Lemmy apparently supposedly was told his blood was so toxic he couldn't like if anybody tried to give him a transfusion of blood, it would kill him. And he goes, "No, actually, I was told I couldn't give anybody else a transfusion because my blood would kill them." And then he went on to say how his doctor actually told him, "Yeah, your blood is like so thick and toxic that the booze actually might be helping you. So keep
Might
drinking."
actually be keeping you alive.
And he said he walked out of the doctor's office that day, fist pumping. He's like, "Yes, I can keep drinking." And then if you remember, he passed out at one point too. He passed out like he had a medical episode, goes to the hospital, and it turns out they're just dehydrated. He's like, "You're just really dehydrated because all you do is drink alcohol and not water. So you need to drink more water." And he made a deal with the doctor where he's like, "How about I put more ice in my booze?" The guy's like, "Whatever, you're Lemmy, Motorhead. It doesn't matter." Speaking of booze and going back in time, did you hear the good news from our beautiful province of Ontario?
Yeah, someone whispered in somebody's ear and said it's 2023. You can sell booze in outside of controlled.
Unbelievable story. Crazy turn of events here in Toronto. We got some.
Are people upset about it?
You know what? It's the strangest thing. No, everybody's like, whatever. I mean, it's just if this province wasn't run by a bunch of mobsters, and if the guy who just said, "Hey, free booze in convenience stores for everybody, 7-Eleven, Esso, we're going to put booze in those places." By the way, it's not till 2026. We're not actually joining 2023 until 2026. But it was an amazing week this week where I live because finally the government said, "You know what? Let's put booze in convenience stores and let's allow people other than government-run entities to sell booze." Now, I learned this week that Ontario has been operating under this weird booze oligarchy for the past 103 years, since 1920. 103 years. We have been prohibition regulated, meaning after the prohibition ended in the 20s, we're like, we're going to tighten the ship up. We're only going to be selling booze certain hours, certain places so that we can, kind of leap back into this thing without, husbands beating their wives and women throwing it away and everybody getting too drunk all the fucking time. And so they kept it to two entities called the beer store, which has been around for eons, decades, and the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. So for the past 20 years, every government's like, we're gonna privatize liquor sales. We're gonna let everybody sell booze. And the creep has been kind of slow. Like you've been seeing beer and wine in certain grocery stores that are friendly with Doug Ford, by the way, the biggest donors that own grocery stores and stuff. They've been allowed to sell beer and wine like Galen Weston, Metro, those places.
Mm-hmm.
However, to your point, which is one of the things I missed about Alberta. Like if you haven't been to Alberta, if you haven't been out west, the litany of private enterprise that's allowed to sell controlled substances, it's like anything.
It has its pros and cons, right?
Tommy's liquor store, Jimmy's beer store, Jimmy's smoke and wine store, beer and wine, beer and pot. You can do it all in Alberta. There's like no rules where you live, and you're from Edmonton. You can the private liquor store is open 24/7. You can get booze anytime you want, right?
Oh, so Dean, I can literally, if I stood on my roof, I could throw a rock and hit 4 liquor stores. It's insane. And there's as many cannabis stores as well, which again, the pros and cons of that now are that free market enterprise didn't work so well for the people that got into the cannabis business. So the fallout because I think everybody thought, oh, we're going to legalize weed in 2017 and or 2019, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And we're going to let everybody buy this because we're all adults and people might want to smoke some. And I think the way they licensed it, I think they thought that the entire province was going to start smoking weed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And
nothing was going to get done.
The same number of people just kept smoking weed, and people that didn't smoke weed tried a gummy to see if it would help them sleep. So it didn't, like, the whole province didn't all of a sudden start smoking weed, but they gave out enough licenses to make it feel like it was. And now those businesses, crashed, like a lot of them crashed. So they were sold and resold, and like we're still going through that. There's sort of the settling out of the market. I still think we have too many stores.
Too many beer stores, too many
weed stores,
and
the beer stores. I don't know if you could have enough beer stores in Alberta. We're drinkers, we're heavy drinkers here.
Yeah, take nothing away from the beautiful province of Alberta, and I'm of the firm opinion. And let me say, everything I'm going to say is I'm going to couch it with I'm of the firm opinion you should be allowed to drink what you want, do what you want, smoke what you want, snort what you want, boof what you want, inject what you want. I really don't care. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Bring whoever you want into your bedroom. Do whatever the hell you want. It's
whatever decisions you want to make, whatever consequences you want to pay for any of those decisions, good for you. Great stuff. Awesome. Zero judgment on my part. And I say that in all honesty and sincerity. However, this has been such a long time coming that it was amazing the timing of the announcement, right? So for the past 2-3 months, this dude has been, Doug Ford, fighting the RCMP on an internal investigation into international money laundering into his government. He just got sued today by all those developers he handed all the Greenbelt land to. He's like, here you go. And we're like, hey, that's illegal. And he's like, there's nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Then spend $25 million on taxpayer money doing advertising, telling everybody our reality isn't our reality. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. And he is so underwater now. Like, he is, nobody in this province likes the man. You can clearly see how duplicitous and how much of a fucking criminal he is. He went back to the well that works. And I find this fucking awesome, right? He got a bump today in the polls because of his announcement yesterday that he was going to make it easier for 17-year-olds and degenerates that have wet appetites to get as much alcohol as they possibly could at convenience stores. Like, of all the things, this is, dude, and this is a fucking statement, of all the things we have a problem with in this country, they seem to be solved if you make it easier for people to get hammered. Like, it's just fucking awesome to watch.
Politics is really easy. And they play this game all the time. We have a guy on, his name is Jason Bale, and we have him on every Monday. We call it Bend Over Mondays, and we highlight something that has happened in the news about the city of Edmonton, because I called him up a couple of months back, and I said, we got to start highlighting this stuff because it's crazy. It's insane what they're doing. And I don't think, my big issue with the city of Edmonton is there is like 5, 10, 15% of the population that votes. So they cater to that audience. Yeah. And they don't care about the rest because they don't vote. And I keep telling people, you can be mad about what the city's doing. The problem is picture the guy right now that votes. You can probably see him in your mind, right? And he's making his own bike in his mom's basement, right? His glasses, right? He probably had hemp for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. And that guy votes, so they cater to that guy, right? And so the rest of the city sits there and goes, why are they making these decisions? And I'm like, you got to vote. So we're highlighting these things. And one of the things that I've noticed from our like weekly sessions with Jason Bale is just the strategy of the things that they do is amazing. Like, it's unbelievable how stupid people are.
You know what's even more incredible? It's unbelievable how stupid they think we all are. Like,
we are that dumb, though.
We buy it. Like,
totally,
today,
we lap it up like
Doug Ford
milk from
stole
kittens.
Billions from people. Doug Ford killed thousands of seniors during the pandemic. Doug Ford is a thief and a liar and corrupt as fuck. And he's undergoing an RCMP investigation into real estate and international money laundering and insider trading and cronyism. And you know what he did?
Allegedly. Let's throw that out there just to be safe today. It's Friday. Do you need another lawsuit?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, they're a lot of fun. Do you know what he did today that made everybody forget about all of it? All of it. He put on his best and brightest. He goes to a convenience store close to his house.
Oh, he bought a bottle of wine.
And he's like, guys, great news. I'm back in a big way. I'm going to salvage my reputation. I'm going to make it about 50 times easier for you to get a bottle when everything's closed. And we're like this.
Yes.
That's the greatest guy in the world. I mean, he just finished robbing his fucking blind, and he doesn't give a shit about anybody that can't give him money. And he's been caught red-handed backpedaling. He had to pull out of his 10 different things this week where he kept saying sorry. And at the end of the week, into a Friday, he does one of these. What if I made it easier for you to get a half sack and some black fly, kids? And everybody's like, oh, White Claws at 7-Eleven? Yum. Yeah, I'll forget about all the other stuff. It is amazing how dumb we are. I love it.
Yeah. The other thing they do, and this is something that you probably see in your municipality right across the country. So they'll say they'll release a statement. They'll go, newsflash, the city's broke. We can't make it work. We need more money. We're going to have to increase your city taxes by 7%. 7%, maybe 8. We're looking at it. We're breaking down the numbers. And like everybody else, we're really hurting right now. It's going to be 8%. And then everyone goes, what the 8%? Yeah. You got to be kidding me. 8%? How am I? Oh my God, you guys are idiots. What are you doing? Who's running this city? 2 weeks later, they go, we had an emergency meeting.
3%.
It's going to be 6. And everyone goes, 6? Yeah, it's not 8, it's 6. So now I've been pointing that out every time they do it. And it's been legitimately for the last 10 years, every year they do it. They say, oh my God, we're broke. It's going to be 5%. And then they come back literally 2 weeks. But this year they stuck to their guns. And I said to Jason, I said, you got to explain the sticking to the guns. And he goes, oh, they're going to have no tax increase next year. It's election year. And I went, oh, so now they're going to hoop us.
Yeah. Prior to the election,
we're
you'll
eating
forget
the
about
7% or 6.5 or whatever. And everyone's like, totally. What happened? You usually lie to us and then you give us then you still hoop us, but then we feel good about being hooped.
Yeah, because you didn't hoop us as bad as you said you were going to hoop us in the original hooping.
So what happened this year? You're just hooping us, and
they're just hooping you so they don't hoop you next year. Yeah.
Next year they're going to come out and say, and sure enough, remember this, mark this down. He's like, oh yeah, it's a total strategy. I'm like, they legitimately talk about this behind closed doors, and he goes, absolutely, and we all la.
Yeah, you lick the anus.
Give me more.
Dude, it's an incredible trick. And we're like goldfish. We forget about all the theft.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's like, what if I can get you a sweet deal on some Prince Igor Russian vodka at a 7-Eleven on Thursday night? And they're like, maybe I'll forget about you stealing my land and all my money. Maybe I will.
What if you can buy a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc for your girlfriend at the gas station?
What if I made it easier for you to get a half sack of Wildcat Strong? And everybody's like, all right, well, I'll take it. It's amazing how easy we are to please. Here's the announcement. This is Doug Ford. By the way, dude, it's a horse race between who the biggest village idiot is, between provincial premiers, between yours and ours. This guy is a yokel and fucking mobbed up yokel. Although I do appreciate the depth and the speed with which he commits public crimes because it makes it easier to track.
Doug Ford, I always enjoy because you'd think that he would get a suit that would fit him. One day I'm hoping that it's going to look like he didn't get like 3 or 4
his
people to help him.
Suit. Always the cuffs are always so long, and the he looks like a giant bell because he's got these skinny old man legs and this giant fat boiler, and he's like it just hangs off him, and you're like, dude, there's like 8 feet of separation between your blazer and your crotch. You need a suit that fits. Anyway, bespoke my ass. He gets it off the top shelf at Moore's. Let's watch him tell people the good news. Ontario, after 100 years of doing prohibition,
he's such a yoko,
which is, dude, it's amazing.
Funny.
After 100 years of prohibition booze sales, you're gonna get booze in your convenience stores. By the way, this is like telling everybody after holding back the internet from northern communities, you're finally gonna get the internet. That's how fucked up this is.
Ontario, we made this promise, and we're getting it done.
You know, from Etobicoke to Pickering to Kenora, this is a fantastic day for Ontario, where we're modernizing alcohol and allowing beer and wine and other products to be sold in grocery stores, convenience stores, big box stores.
to give us a thumbs up. That shouldn't be funny.
You can literally get booze anywhere right now. They're just gonna put it in convenience stores. And there's the lady who works at the Circle K around the corner from Doug's house, giving it the fucking under duress thumbs up. Ooh, just go over there and give it the thumbs up, standing by all that booze. Look at her.
I promise I won't sell this to teenagers.
And dude, that's the first thing these convenience store owners are gonna do. How many convenience store owners who, if you look a little, dude, and this is the thing, the government wants to get as much booze in the hands of as many underage kids as possible so they can start selling more booze. That's the deal with this. Let's watch the rest of this incredible production, shall we?
Oh, this is
Ontario.
so funny.
We're making sure that all Ontario residents have the opportunity to have convenience shopping when you go in.
I don't think he gets enough blood to his head.
At a convenience store or a big box or retailer, you can pick up that bottle of wine, you can pick up the case of beer or seltzers or cider or whatever it might be.
At least he's a beer guy.
Case of beer, ciders, seltzers, you know.
You think Doug's a beer guy?
He doesn't drink, apparently. That's the amazing part. Apparently he watched his brother drink way too much Prince Igor Russian vodka in the park while he was smoking crack that he doesn't drink.
Oh, really?
He's a teetotaler.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I have seen him drink beer with Francois Legault from Quebec, so maybe he's lying. Good chance he's lying. It's what he does for a living. So I don't know.
In your grocery cart, walk home, and it saves you time.
There you go. Guys, we're making it easier
I
for
gotta
every
say, though,
Ontario
it
resident
is-
to get free booze.
You can be upset about the change in how they're selling liquor in Ontario, but it is ridiculous that you have one store for the entire city of Toronto that sells booze. You guys should be embarrassed.
Yeah, dude, I don't disagree with you. I think booze should have been readily available across this country and across every province, but
They were
we
making too
controlled
much
it.
money from it.
Well, they were, but now the goal is apparently they're going to keep the beer store and the liquor store, the LCBO. They're going to have the higher end kind of full mark, liquor, vodka, SoCo, mixed drinks, the special stuff. But they're going to allow like coolers, wine, beer, not necessarily liquor in those stores. So you can still go get your Old English, that delicious beverage. You can go get a 40 of OE and some Wildcat and maybe some Molson Canadian if you get there in time. Maybe some Corona, maybe a Strongbow, maybe some White Claw. But you're not going to be able to get the real booze. So this is just more access to sell more booze because the government of Ontario still rakes a percentage of every single bottle of any kind of alcohol sold. So it's just increasing how much they're going to make, putting it in different places. They're going to keep those places still. They're just going to sell it in more spots, making it a lot easier for people to get alcohol, which, if you know anything about alcohol, and I don't want to shit on it because I've got no problem with people that drink. I've had a couple of glasses of wine here or there. I've had an old fashioned here or there in the last year or so. And I've got no problem with it. I just don't do it. I don't do it. And when I do it, it's to taste and that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Because of my history and because I don't want to. I like being present. I enjoy it. Alcohol just takes you away from things like any substance, right? You're not really overly present. So that's my thinking behind what I think. However, it doesn't affect my thinking about guys like you who want to go out, grab a case of beer because you ran out, you got people at the house. I think it's awesome. Good for us. But you got to read between the lines. And it's, again, stunned me how easily duped we are into thinking, I guess all the crime doesn't matter if he's going to put beer in the 7-Eleven.
I think people need to just be aware of what it is that these things are, right? Like these regulations, the government goes out of their way to tell you how you need them. We're here to protect you. So we're going to create all these rules and regulations revolving around these things that could harm us. And then over the years, they loosen it up, and they benefit from it. Like they tax the living hell out of it, right? I said this on the air today. If we went down to the United States, just took one state of the United States of America out of the 50 states and overnight taxed them to the point that we are taxed in Canada, there would be a civil war. They would be taking over they'd be flipping cars and burning buildings. It would be insane. The level of tax in this country is out of hand, and they've got to find new and creative ways of taxing us. And they do that through liquor. They do that through fuel. They do that from cigarettes And a lot of it, they try to find ways of justifying it. They do it with speed traps and all this stuff.
I got a question for you.
But hold on.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Didn't mean to
They
interrupt.
do it through
Actually,
gambling.
That's why I did it.
They do it through all of these things. And the thing is, and I've said this before, if you have a problem with how much a hockey ticket is to go see the Edmonton Oilers or the Toronto Maple Leafs and how much then stop buying that stuff. The problem is that we don't. We continue to drink. We continue to gamble. We continue to do all the things that they benefit from, regardless of the tax or the money that they put in front of it or how difficult they make it to. We're going to continue to do it, right? As a society, as a society, we could be better. We could do a better job. I could drink less, right? Obviously.
Yeah, but how much fun would that be?
Yeah, I could not, like, smokers. Like, if you're paying $25 a pack of cigarettes, you're literally paying probably $20 in taxes to smoke a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, I think 90%, 85 to 90% of the cost of a pack of smokes is tax. Yeah, as it should be. I mean, you know, and here's the thing, like, and I want to bring this to your attention because there's a Canadian senator named Patrick Brazeau, good dude. History of drug abuse issues, domestic issues, had to take some time away.
Is this the guy that says that we should be taxing it by like 500%?
No, I don't think he's saying we should be taxing by 500. I don't think we should be taxing it by 500%, but I believe more taxes should be put on booze. I really do. For a couple of reasons. One is, if we're all healthy and happy as non-smokers and former smokers with the amount of tax that goes on smokes because we don't smoke, right? And nobody's talking about that anymore. They accept the fact that they go pick up a pack of smokes. It's over $30. It's got some pictures of some blood in a toilet or a dead fetus on it or a dead heart or bad teeth. And we just accept it. We're like, yeah, I get it. What he wants to do is kind of similar, but he wants to do it with booze. And I want your thoughts on it. Because if you're a drinker, you know the risks associated with drinking, or you don't, and you should know the risks associated with drinking. And I am not here, trust me, as someone who, and you know me, dude, I never take your inventory, never talk about it. But it's like one of the biggest causes of cancer, heart disease in the world. And he's got this bill called S-254, and it's about putting a warning label on alcohol. Just a warning label.
It'll never happen.
Cancers caused by alcohol, oral cavity cancer, oropharynx cancer, larynx cancer, esophageal cancer, breast cancer in women, liver cancer, colorectal cancer, liver cancer. It's like number 1 or number 2. By the way, I think it's number 1. Pancreatic cancer, all kinds of cancers. Now, this gentleman is going to be seeing, Senator Patrick Brazeau will be seeing kind of how I'm seeing, which is why I never talk about alcohol or the dangers of it. But if legitimately, if the Food Inspection Agency of Canada hadn't already approved alcohol for consumption 100 years ago because of lobby groups, they would not approve it today. It is a known carcinogen, like smoking, but it's bad for all of your internal organs, depending on how much you drink. There literally is not one health benefit to booze. And I do not, again, want to shit on your party tonight or you enjoying yourself. These are hard facts for people. So would you be okay with, you, Lochlin, as someone who enjoys beverages responsibly, I may add? Lochlin is one of my responsible drinking friends. We all have guys that just do it to get pie-eyed. That is not my friend Lochlin. He enjoys beer, and he doesn't really venture outside that. And he's one of those guys that can have a couple and he can go to bed. It's one of those.
I go off the rails, I'd say 2-3 times a year where I go, and it's usually because somebody talked me into shooters.
It's never a good idea.
Well, I will drink beer and wine. I don't drink hard booze hardly ever.
Let me ask you a question.
Put a little bit of rye in my coffee, maybe.
Good for you. I do, and no issue with it. I have the odd cocktail now and again. No issue with it. But it's a taster. It's not for me to drink to change the way I am, and that's just me.
I like a little buzz.
Would you be okay with paying a little bit more and having a label on your booze?
Well, I don't get to say it's going to go up. It goes up every year. The taxes on liquor are absolutely insane.
Would you be okay if they taxed it
and
put a label on it?
The liquor lobbyists, the group
behind. Would you be okay with it?
I don't care. they're going to do it. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. But I think the liquor lobbyists right now have a little bit more pull than, say, the tobacco lobbyists, right? The tobacco lobbyists, because they lost the battle a long time ago, and they did stuff that was they were trying to hide the fact, and they were actually lying for years and years and years, lied to the public, and ended up costing them billions and billions of dollars in lawsuits, right? Yeah. So it's easier for governments to get away with doing things like restricting companies that sell cigarette products and nicotine products and putting labels on them. I don't think we're there yet we're getting there with liquor and booze. I don't think it's as widely accepted or as vilified in this country.
You have a 70% chance drop in chance of getting cancer or heart disease if you quit drinking. Same thing with smoking. You know what? 70%. And I mean,
I'm not suggesting it's not there. I don't totally. I never said that I didn't think that the health risks were there. I'm talking about whether or not it's not whether or not they want to do it. I know they do. It's whether or not that it'll be a priority, right? I just don't think it will be for politicians to start doing that.
Well,
they make too much money from booze.
Totally, and they can still make that money from booze. And I totally understand. Like, you're going to see a lot of people stand up against this lobby, stand up against the idea that Senator Patrick Brazeau, who has a vendetta against booze, there are a lot of people out there who don't want to see a pair of, someone's diseased liver on a bottle of Chianti, right? There are a lot, and I get that. I don't either. And not that
the industry's different. It's different than the cigarette industry.
Should come with a bit of a warning. It should come. Like, the days are gone when how back in the day where like 4 out of 5 doctors smoke Camels, and they used to go home if you're lactating, drink some Southern Comfort or have like 5 pints of Guinness. Those are wives' tales. Like, at some point, someone's going to have to say something about the dangers of that substance as well. It's amazing how it gets a pass.
I think the unintended consequence of putting warning labels on everything is that we do actually settle into this idea that somebody other than yourself is actually taking care of you. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I'm against it isn't because I don't want to see a diseased liver on a bottle of booze or a 6-pack of beer when I go into the liquor store. I could care less. It's probably not going to stop me from drinking if they start putting warning labels on it. The problem I have with it is we do this in society where we say we're going to, instead of just being responsible for ourselves, we say to everybody, our politicians get to say, I did a good thing today. I took care of you. And so the population sits back and goes, that's right. I can do whatever I want, because if something's going to be bad for me, they're going to put a label on it. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say it out loud, but I think subconsciously, the unintended consequence of protecting everybody is we just become dumber.
Yeah, but that's not
don't think it's a bad
people.
thing.
That's just informing people. Like, it's amazing that anybody even has that perspective that shouldn't be a warning label on cigarettes. I don't need a nanny state telling me these are bad for me. I already know. Well, they're not for you, dude, because you've agreed to the deal. The deal is that you can get cancer from it, and you're going to keep smoking, and good for you. I don't care what you do with your time. Same thing with booze. I was well aware when I was drinking heavily that alcohol was not good for me. Well aware. I could tell by the spots on my back. I could tell by the discoloration in my eyes. I could tell when I'd go to the doctor and he'd tell me your liver's functioning like it's a 90-year-old liver. I'm like, I have no idea why. I knew why. I totally knew why. However, I drank like an asshole. I couldn't regulate, right? I didn't have those things. And for people who enjoy a cocktail or enjoy a nice glass
doesn't mean it doesn't. It's not good. It doesn't mean that it's not good for you, right?
Correct.
The problem is I don't think.
I think it's a fascinating conversation. Like, listen, whether there's a label on a bottle of alcohol or not has nothing to do with me, because I don't care. Great, but here's the thing: I wouldn't stump for it. I'm just wondering if and when it happens, if we're going to treat all substances like that.
And I don't think it'll actually have any impact on who's
go back and do it.
I don't think the warning labels do. I think education does. And I think society figures these things out. And it takes time because we're dumb as sticks. But
interesting, eh? Interesting conversation. I love it. I love this conversation. It's my wheelhouse because I'm like super non-judgmental when it comes to other people and what they do. I think everybody should be allowed to make any decision they want and go through whatever consequence that decision brings. And I understand the nanny state perspective. I don't want people telling me that what I know is bad is like, dude, I vape. I know this is bad for me. I see it on the warning label. I get it. This is not a smoking cessation device. I have an addiction to it and I enjoy it and I shouldn't. I get it. I know what it's doing to me and I do it anyway. But at some point, stands to reason.
That's kind of that's kind of my point. I think that we spend a lot of time and energy making ourselves feel better, especially your public officials. That gives them some sense of, I don't know, whatever it is, some sense of I did something today, maybe. And I don't know if they're having the impact they think they're having. I think we get smarter as we get a little bit older and as we move through life and we actually witness the things that are bad for us and what it does to us. I don't think the label on the cigarette is working. And I think the mistrust that everybody has and the hypocrisy from our public officials on so many things is just, it doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. But like, again, I go back to this. You and I both know abusing alcohol is bad for you, right? Abusing any substance is bad.
But we're talking about whether or not it's a good idea to put a label on, and whether I'm just saying I don't think it's going to have any impact on whether or not people drink. I'm sorry.
You know what? I don't know if it will either. Part of me thinks that I'll tell you this because I'm wired like this. When I saw that thing for the warning label, I got mad for drinkers. I was like, stay the fuck away. Let them do their thing. Right.
Well,
for a lot of people, they need it.
Remember when
part of me was like, it kind of stands to reason that we should probably have a warning label on it.
Remember when Nancy Reagan was going to save the children in the United States and they were going to put warning labels on all of the records and the music that had explicit lyrics on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was up in arms. I remember this happening and they were like, yeah, we can't let this happen. We got to stop this. What are they doing? And that I'm talking about the artists themselves. This is my art. I should be able to say whatever I want. And I think it was the rap artists that realized, and I don't know if it was their management or if it was the artists themselves that realized that this was actually going to benefit them.
Yeah, more people would buy it. Yeah. Part of me, that anti-attitude I had, I'm like, I should just start drinking again so I can buy one of those warning label bottles because someone told me I couldn't. Because that's how I look at it, right? So I have the same inner demons as everybody else and the rap industry. Totally. But
so
it's, then fascinating.
You talk to whatever Ice Cube or Ice Cube drink or whatever from NWA. I don't know which ice it is. Cube. I get them mixed up.
There's only one.
Anyway, and he was like, we would have put explicit warning labels on our records anyway because we sold more records with them on.
Yeah.
So it just totally backfired. And we got so many examples of that through time, over time, that's why I don't know what you would do to convince somebody that is really, really in it, like a heavy smoker, a heavy drinker. They've got to kind of get to the point where they need to get to quit. I don't think Justin Trudeau's warning label on a liquor bottle is going to stop that guy. Oh, thank you, Justin.
Wait a second. Just this is bad for me.
That's where I'm at with it.
Wait a second. Yeah.
But I don't want to be the guy that says it's a stupid idea because
it's not good for you. But, if things aren't good for you, generally they come with warnings, right? Like, don't hold this chainsaw chain first. That's on a chainsaw warning package. Same thing with a hairdryer. Don't use this in the bathtub. We have those fucking warning labels on everyday products.
A couple years ago, there was a couple of guys in Alabama, I think, and they bought a bulletproof vest for some reason. These two boneheads. And they were like, it was like uncles or brothers or something, and they were in the trailer and they were drinking late at night. The neighbors called the cops on them because they were in the front yard after, 6, 7, 8 beer or whatever, and they decided to take shots at each other. So they would put the vest on, stand 10 feet away or 20 feet away, take a shot. The cops showed up and they were trying to get closer to see see when it would start hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And they were drunk out of their minds, and they go to the courthouse and they get, I can't remember what the sentence was, but they put these guys in jail. And I remember at the time thinking to myself, why would you even remotely consider separating those two from each other? They're gonna eventually die, and it might be better off, as awful as that
Why
sounds.
not celebrate them? Why not get them to do it again and again and again until they can't do it anymore? Dude, I'm the same.
If you got two guys that are sitting on a porch on a Friday afternoon that decide to take shots at each other with a handgun
just to see how the bulletproof vest reacts.
Works.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to worry about putting those guys in jail.
Me neither. I think you put them in charge of a bulletproof vest quality testing factory. That's what I think you do. So guys, have at it. Here's a bunch of guns. Have fun.
And that's a morbid thing to say. And I understand how awful it is to say, but I just think we're getting in the way of the Darwin factor in that regard.
Oh, dude. And you know what? A buddy of mine once said this to me, and I thought, yeah, it's brilliant. He's like, people should be allowed to make all their own bad decisions, right? We shouldn't have to be able to stand up in front of them and go, hey, whoa, this is bad for you. Because that's what everybody hates about the left, right? And it is true. The left likes to tell people that what they're doing is terrible. It's terrible for you. It's terrible for me. Generally speaking, I believe most of them are right. When they're like, hey, lying about a terrorist attack is not good. Yeah. Correct. Hey, abusing alcohol, not good. But they go the extra mile where they're like, we're gonna harm you to prove that you shouldn't harm yourself and you shouldn't be allowed to do it. No. Everybody in the world should be allowed to make all their own bad decisions for themselves. And we still have people that do it. And the
other problem with this is I don't know what happened and I can't explain it. And I even have a dose of this as well. If somebody tells me not to do something, I will legitimately go out of my way and do it twice as hard.
Yeah. In public. And I'd tweet about it too. Yeah, dude, I'm the same. It's like the lawsuit stuff with Canada Proud. They're like, don't say, and we don't want you to talk about it publicly.
I haven't heard about this. Is this that lawsuit somebody told me you were?
Yeah. Part of the lawsuit, and it was hilarious, right? Because I'm me. I'm like, well, clearly I'm not going to listen to you guys. You're suing me. Like, like when someone's like, I want $200,000 from you and I want your eternal silence. I'm like, A, you're not getting any money. And B, I'm going to ramp this shit up now because that's how I'm fucking wired.
Well, that's what I said when you told me about someone didn't do their research about you.
They're like, he's going to shut up. No problem. I'm like, no, dude, of course I'm not going to do it, to the point where it's like, I go out of my way to make sure that I'm on the right side of history when I do talk about it, to the point where it's nauseating. Like our lawyers, I'm like, can I say this? They're like, oh my God, you sent us 4 emails today, 5 emails. And I'm like, yeah, you're still on the clock. So tell me if I'm allowed to say these things. And they're like, yes, and maybe not. And I'm like, I take maybe not as a yes when it comes to this subject, where I'm like, all right, we're off to the races. Yeah. Because like you, back to the booze thing, someone tells you can't have any, you're going to not only have some, you're going to stand there and drink it as slow as you can with a smile on your face, in front of their face, because nobody likes being told what to do. It's why everybody's mad at everybody. We sit here and tell everybody how to act and how to be. We prove it. Yes,
it went really well during the pandemic. Look how on board everybody was.
Yeah, everybody really got together.
Everyone was trying to protect each other. No. People are still mad about it. Yeah.
The pandemic? Are they really?
We used to get told, I don't know, we had a boss that did not get our show. And so we occasionally, I'd say about once a month, there would be a word that would be too much for said individual, and then we would be told that we weren't allowed to say that word anymore. I'll give you an example. I don't know why we were on a gangbang. It was like coming up on the show constantly.
What, like
Gangbang.
the gangbang's the title or the hyphenated term?
No, the word we were
just
using it,
gangbang.
and it was like it was in the Grant report. It was a topic of conversation, and I'm not exactly sure why. And I remember when the boss sent us a note and said, "Guys, gangbang, like put it away, like it's too much." I remember saying to the guys, "Why are we saying gangbang so much on the air?" And they're like, "I don't know. It just kept coming up." And it was all three of us. So the next day we did a Pastor Jimmy. If you don't know, the little guy on the show, James P. White, has a religious background and was an assistant youth pastor in Tabor, Alberta when he was a kid. And so we get him to write obituaries. So we would
This
do
is the drunk stripper, a little person on your show used to be a youth pastor at a church.
You can't even make this stuff up.
I love it already. Tell me more.
So then he would do these sermons when we would lose a word. So we would have a Pastor Jimmy obit for gangbang. And in the obit, the day after we were told not to say the word, we would literally say the word 7 times in a 2-minute bit.
Because you can, right? It's the same time when I was on the radio and they're like, you can't use the word douchebag anymore. I'm like, why? We got too many complaints. We got 100 complaints that use the word douchebag.
You like the word douchebag?
It's one of my favorite words of all time. And I'm like, all right. So I went up to the office. Not only did he not have the emails, Alan Cross, my former boss, who is hilarious, by the way. And he's like,
not related, by the way.
Yeah, not related. He's like, I deleted them all. I'm like, well, you didn't have the emails. So the next morning, I said the word douchebag 144 times. I counted 144 every single time. Every single break had at least 5 terms in it that described douchebag. Every single one. And I got off the air and I went upstairs and I'm like, how'd that go? Like this with a big smile on my face. And he's like, it was a great show. Pretended like none of it happened. And I'm like, I think I've proven my point. I don't need to drag this out. I go, I'm glad we had this talk. And I went back into my office. That was it. But that's how I'm wired. And I would be the same way if they put booze, like labels on booze. I would do what you did.
You'd start drinking again.
I would probably start just hammering vodka. All right. Fuck you, because you told me I couldn't. Now I'm going to. And they're like, you're sick again. I'm like, what does it matter to me? Because I just hate being told what to do. But there are people that will do that too.
I wonder, there are rule followers, and then there are people that are wired like you and I, right? That push back against authority. And I don't know what the percentages are. And I'm not suggesting we shouldn't have rules. I just think that I think that high and mighty approach, we're going to take care of you all, is gone too far. And I think it needs to be reevaluated
on both sides. Right.
We touch on it quite often on this podcast from different perspectives, not always from the warning label, but we touch on it from how politics is presented from both sides. You're right. And I think to get us back on track to sort of scrub the division, the divisiveness of society right now, there needs to be a new approach. And you know what, the liquor labels, I don't know if that's the best example of what we're talking about right now, but we got this us and them thing going on, and it rears its ugly head in a lot of different conversations.
Dude, to your point,
we were talking about the legalization or the bill for the firearms today, right? Like we were talking about that earlier, and that's another example. We had a guy, I went on the air today, we talked about it, and I said, you know what, listen, for me, you can be upset about this, and I get it. If this impacts you and you're
talking about the firearm bill where they're going to take away handguns and semi-automatic weapons from people in Canada, even though owning gun is a privilege.
So it's going to law. And there's a lot of people that are very upset about it from the perspective of they feel like they're losing more of their freedoms, right? And then there's some question marks about the buyback, and then there was a lot of question marks about what was on the list and what wasn't on the list. So they kind of got dragged through that, and I believe they sat down with an expert and said, "Okay, listen, if you're gonna do this, you can't have this one on and not this one. You should probably take that one off because that legit is a hunting, blah, blah, blah. So I think they did kind of try to clean the list up a little bit. And whether or not anybody's happy with that, and it's presented by both sides differently. Like the right is going to present it one way and the left is going to present it another way. Somewhere in the middle is what it actually probably is. But I said on the air this morning, I said, at no point in my life have I ever thought, hey, I could use a machine gun right now. And I was just being a dick. And some guy legit went off on me.
Called you?
Off on text. And was just like, you're an idiot.
Because you said I've never found I've needed, I had any use for a machine gun.
And the problem here's the problem I've had with the conversations I've had, minimal conversations I've had about firearms with anybody that is pro-gun, is that immediately your opinion is disregarded because I don't know anything about guns, which I have a problem with, because if I think that the average Joe or my neighbor shouldn't have a machine gun, whether I know what make it is, what it shoots, what caliber, and what country built it, has no bearing on my opinion as to whether or not he should have one. I don't think I need to be an expert on firearms to say on the air, I don't need a machine gun, and I don't think anybody.
So what was his issue?
does.
His issue was saying that he was angry that you said that you don't need a machine gun, or he was angry that you said you don't need a machine gun, and he's probably going to lose his machine gun in a buyback program, and he wants to keep his machine gun for what? Hunting grouse?
We didn't get that far.
Okay, good.
But because I told him,
because those are lots of questions. Oh, good. You blocked him.
I just blocked him. Yeah.
Speaking of which, people telling you how life is. What's your block number at? Do you know your block number? You got a block number?
I've got people blocked on Facebook. I used to really be self-conscious about, where do you go to get your block number?
Settings.
Okay,
I'll look for mine now.
And more.
Dude, I have been on a heater.
Settings.
I've been on a block heater for the past
your
while.
Account.
Unbelievable block heater. Incredible.
Well, you tell us yours. I'm going to look for mine. Mine will not be anywhere near as high as yours.
Yeah, mine is
privacy.
Okay. Blocked accounts. Ooh. Just go to your search bar in the tools, blocked accounts. You want to know what my block number is? By the way, people are very angry that I blocked them. And I'll get into the rules about why real quick. We're not going to have time to talk about Michelle Ferrari's giant tampon freak out the other day either, but we'll get to that on Monday. Because it was all time. Woman snuck into a men's bathroom to take issue with the fact they had feminine hygiene products in the men's bathroom. Politician. Dumbest human being.
Really? Really?
Anyway.
Why would you need them in the men's bathroom?
Well, there's a pilot program. Feminine hygiene products need to be more readily available. There could be trans men that might want to go use that washroom if there are no feminine hygiene products available in that bathroom as they are readily available in the female bathroom. Pilot project says, let's make feminine hygiene products available for everybody here in this building. Right. So, yeah, and you might have a wife that might be menstruating. You might need to run into the men's bathroom, go grab a plug if you want, or a pat. No one cares. It's such a stupid fucking thing, but conservative turned it into a thing. Okay, my block count. You ready for this? I have 2,323 accounts muted, just muted. Probably quite a few friends who I'm like, I can't watch this person tweet anymore, but I can't unfollow them because I'll get angry because we're that weird about it. 9,247 blocked accounts. 9247. 9,247. So I went through a good portion of those, and I'm going to ballpark it. I would say 75 to 80% in that, maybe 70 to 80%. So about 7,000 of those accounts are not real. They're like joined in the last year, block, instant block if you joined in the last year.
Oh, here we go. I found
super block if, and I'll get to the rest of the details in a minute, Super block if you just started an account, have no profile picture, and there is no real name attached to your profile. Mega block, fuck you, gone, not interested. The other reason I block people, if you shit post me once with any of those metrics, no picture, fake name, and new account, you're gone. Zero. I don't even read it. I'll look at your profile to see when you join. But generally speaking, I know you're a bot when I put out a video and it comes back some kind of response about how much of a shit I am in broken English. Probably know that you're not real. So I'm going to say of the 9,237 accounts that I blocked, at least 7,500, between 7 and 7,500 are fake. Saudi Arabia, Philippines.
Yeah, I blocked
Russia,
those as well.
All those. Like one account, no replies or all replies and no tweets.
I get a lot of
fire hose. Oh, by the way,
hi, what are you doing,
Trudeau
honey?
in your bio, you're gone too. I have zero interest. Or yeah, hey, do you? I blocked those. I blocked the porn accounts too. You can go and look at my blocked account. Tons of porn accounts of the women going, "Do you like what you see? Would you smash this?" And I'm like, probably, but you're fake, which sucks.
Yeah. No, Jerry.
No,
I'm not.
Tom.
You just found that picture on Instagram.
Yeah. What's your block number?
I have 361, and I would suggest that I am in a similar. I don't get into the same. I don't post like you do. You're aggressive. Your stuff is quite controversial a lot of times.
What are you talking
about?
See,
I don't jump into that arena because it's not. I just don't think it's.
You know what I love? Don't care. I love the people that like I'll get a DM from somebody like you going, "Hey, someone sent me this email. You blocked them. They would like to be able to see your tweets and they're sorry." And I'm like, "No."
You know what? I generally when people because it happens to me about once or twice a month, somebody that you've blocked that still listens or something.
Wants access. Play nice and I'll give you access. Here's the thing. I don't have to pick up. I don't have to allow anybody to see anything. I don't. No. Let me put it in layman's terms for everybody. And this should help everybody on Twitter. Let me help you. Let me help you. My Twitter account, our socials, and I know social media is a joke. It's our house. It's an extension of our house. It's our brand. When you come into our house and take a dump on the floor, I kick you out. It's super easy for me to understand. Do you want someone having access to your day who can walk in and call you a cuck or a pedo or a groomer or a libtard? Do you want somebody? Do you really? No, you don't. And you wouldn't do it in real life. So translate that real life over to social media.
Yeah.
And you get your answer. And they can say all the time, you're going to live in your echo chamber. You don't have any courage because you don't let me comment on your stuff. Well, if you called me a pedo, I'm probably not going to let you comment on my stuff anymore. It's pretty simple, dudes. And
the ones that I think that contact me and say, hey, Dean blocked me. We were having a discussion about A. And I said B. And it's always like vague terms. And then he blocked me and I'm not sure why. Can you find out why? Because people they're sensitive about being cut off, which is fine. I like if I found out somebody blocked me, I honestly, I don't think I would care. But I think what happens a lot of times is people try to engage in a conversation that might be a little heated, like a controversial topic, and they think they're being, what's the best way of putting it? They think they might be adding to the conversation or diffusing it with humor, and maybe it doesn't come off. Some people aren't as good with tone in the written in spoken. Maybe they're better at it, and then in writing they're not as good. And so you see it and you go, "Oh, she's being a biatch, so I'm just going to block her." Yeah. And then maybe the intent was, because I've had a few of those where I'm like, I think maybe Dean might have hit the block button a little too fast there.
And I sometimes do. It's a nature of the game. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I have enough followers. I'm happy. I don't care. I don't get into discussions with people on Twitter. I'll say my piece. If I feel like I need to respond, I will. But generally speaking, two things I don't do anymore: punch down. Right? If I'm going to go after somebody, they're going to be up here on the level. That's number one. The other thing I don't do is I don't debate things that I talk about with you when you tell me, show me. I'm not Google. I will say something and I make sure that the things I say can be backed up by some facts.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
that at least I will know what I'm talking about, or I will provide those facts. When you have an issue with it and you go, fuck you, pedophile. Show me where you found out that Pierre Poilievre didn't
Those
have a
people
background
that
check.
you're blocking
Zero
are coming back to me going, I don't know why Dean blocked me. I think Dean, the people that are coming to me going, Dean blocked me, and I wonder why. And could you, and you know, and I will legit. What I'll do is, because I've gotten DMs from people, I'll send you a note and I'll say, hey, Sarah is curious about why you blocked her, and this is the note she sent me. And you usually go, tell her to fuck off. And no, so then I say to Sarah, hey, Sarah, I tried.
Yeah, there's one lady who wanted to talk to me. I think her name was Jen. Do you remember that? She's like, can you please get Dean to call me or talk to me about something? And I'm like, no.
See, for me,
like, why would I call somebody to talk to them about something? I'm getting, listen, social media is just, it's like a billboard. It's where I post things. You can have issues with them or not. But the one thing you're never going to do is prevent me from doing it or get me into a deeper conversation about why you might have an issue with something that I tweeted. It's performative. It's a game. It's bullshit. It's a gamed algorithm.
Yeah.
Half the people aren't even real. Like, I mean, like, that is just that is like, you know what that is? It's a cork board at a really terrible grocery store. You remember those cork boards at a grocery store? You're like, oh, this lady said that she can watch people's cats for $20 a day, and this guy's got like two pieces of an old bike for sale. That's what it is, but it's like that for your ideas and what you want to do and how you want to contribute to society. Yeah. So when someone's like, well, fuck you, I'm going to come to your corkboard and take a big mess on it, I'm not letting them in the grocery store anymore. Again, it's super simple for me. And here's the other thing. It relieves all the stress and tension of having to actually respond to people. Here's an idea. When someone says, tell me where you got that, how about no? How about you let them go on that journey and look that information up, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I get
super
that.
Simple.
I think my idea of what social media has changed. It's definitely morphed over the years, right? And we don't need to go. But where I'm at right now is because, and I've told you about my progression in life, and it happens to fall on the decades, right? I realized I was not that smart at the age of 20 when I met my beautiful wife. It's funny how that worked itself out. She set me straight, and she basically told me, you're not a very smart man. And then when I was 30, I realized nobody gave a shit about my version of the truth. When I was 40, I realized that I shouldn't be managing people. And now when I'm 50, I'm doing a much better job of cutting toxic people out of my life. And that includes social media. But I've struggled with it because I always sort of thought that this job, what I do for a living, and I include podcasting, is I've kind of opened up my life to the world. And I always thought it was kind of my responsibility to get back to people and allow access based on the fact that I've sort of stepped into this world. And what I've learned is
that's
that
all dead. That's dead.
That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous. When
not in the social media world, you can't do that anymore, dude. You cannot do that. You can't. And you know, here's the thing.
I always felt that I had a certain obligation to the people that took the time to tune in and listen to my bullshit every day.
Zero. Yeah, that's enough. You know what? Their obligation to listen to you starts and stops at the decision to turn the radio on and off. That's it. That's it. And when someone's going to come into your mentions, you have an obligation to yourself to cut that shit out of your life. Like, absolutely cut it out of your life. And I do it in my personal life. Why would I not do it in my professional life?
You're right. You're right. And it's funny how I've always had this idea about being on the radio. If somebody complained and legitimately thought that I was doing something that they were against, I would tell them, hey, maybe my show isn't for you. I bet you there is a show out there that you might be happier listening to.
Rogan.
Yet, but for me on social media, it took me a while to get to that point where I was like, yeah, like I don't know why.
I can prevent people from being in my life. Yeah, dude.
But I separated it somehow.
No,
I don't know
you can't.
why.
You can't. It's got to be it's transverse. You got to take what you do in your personal life and apply it to your professional life. I'll use the Michelle Ferrari video as an example. So she's a conservative MP. She goes into the men's washroom in the House of Commons. It's the most hallowed it's fucking as hallowed as political ground can be. She walks into a men's bathroom. Men's bathrooms at the House of Commons are very inclusive. They also have feminine hygiene products in the bathroom. So this is a video she recorded. There's JB Sheep King in the background.
Seen
here.
that. We're not doing that in Alberta.
Fucking weird. Well, yeah, no, that's not weird. Tampons. I think tampons should be everywhere for anybody that wants them. I could give a shit. They're just items, right?
It wouldn't upset me.
Who cares? But anyway, let's
like
watch the video.
Machines,
and
right?
I'll so she tweeted me today, and I'll play this because we had a comment on it, and I'll get to that in a second. But let's watch the video.
Come on in. So this is the men's bathroom, and I want to show you what has been put in the bathrooms. That is period products for federally regulated employees. I can't stress enough to you how out of touch this is.
We don't need to hear from JB. Although great video. Follow him. Sheep King, JB. So she's been dragged. She deleted those videos. She's a Peterborough MP. Yeah, Peterborough, just to give it's like the Alberta of Ontario.
I know a couple people from Peterborough. They're good.
Yeah, great people.
Good. I know some broadcasters from Peterborough.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're good guys.
So
good guys.
Anyway, she got dragged because she did a couple things. A, it's illegal to record a video in a bathroom in a federally regulated building when you're a federally paid employee. She did that. She's not even in her bathroom. She's in the men's bathroom. So that's illegal as well. And on top of it, fucking weird and pervy. Number three, sorry, I got the two things. This is the third thing that she's being dragged for today, is that she's completely discounting the idea a trans man might come in there and need something from a feminine hygiene stall that aren't available in men's bathrooms, and they're in women's bathrooms. You got the little thing you could turn. If you've ever been into a public female bathroom at a nightclub or a building, they all have places like a little turnstiles, little vending machine where you can get tampons, maxi pads, and maybe a nice breath mint.
They have breath mints?
Oh, yeah, I think they got breath mints, rubbers too, and stuff. But man, they got nothing, right? So because we're an inclusive country, which I like, by the way, and because we have a bunch of people, women who are transitioning into men that want to use the men's bathroom, and this, of course, is a big conservative cudgel, right? Where it's like, don't allow women in men's bath, all the bullshit, all the dumb shit. I've got no problem taking a dump next to a trans man, trans woman, man, woman, don't care. Because I'm just taking a dump.
I don't think anybody wants to take a dump next to me, but that's another conversation.
You're the only guy I don't want to have a dump next to be honest with you. Yeah. So, plus, you've also got a bunch of women that work in the House of Commons, and feminine hygiene products, generally speaking, are so welcome to any workforce that employs women. Like any workforce, because they're taxed at a ridiculous rate. It's difficult to find them in certain circumstances. It's a highly personal issue. It's a serious health issue. It's a productivity issue. It's just smart business to put feminine hygiene products in every bathroom, right? Just in case. Maybe some MP's wife is visiting. Maybe someone's cousin's. Who knows? Don't matter. Don't care. It's just a good idea. So because she's an absolute fucking brain dead hillbilly, I'm being nice. Because she's a brain dead hillbilly, she's
on the heels of I don't punch down.
Oh, dude, she's an MP. I'm punching up. Because she's a brain dead hillbilly who literally just rides for the exclusive hard line. We hate trans people. We hate gay people. We hate things we don't understand brand and theocratic Canada. Because she rides for those people, she goes and does a video, commits several crimes while she's doing it. and then alienates anybody who thinks accessibility and inclusiveness is a great idea, right? So I tweet that out yesterday. I got called because I stand up for the idea that we should have better access to feminine hygiene products for all women in this country, all of them. It's just good to do for the health and the well and safety of the individuals who have periods. Individuals who have periods.
Mhm.
Now we have bathrooms that anybody can go in. Put them in every bathroom. Put them everywhere you can. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't get all
care.
jacked up.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-menstruation. I don't have a problem with women's periods. I don't have a problem with trans women.
No.
I don't have a problem. But somehow she invents this problem that she should have a problem with legitimate items in a bathroom because of who they might hang on, because of who they might be for. And that is the problem. And so I said my piece. I got a steady stream on Twitter of people going, pedo, groomer. Of course you'd think that. You like grooming kids. You like sexualizing children. Over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. And to my point, every single one of them got blocked because they are not real people. And when they are real people, to be that stupid, you have lost the privilege of interacting with me forever. I'll never unblock those people. It's never going to be a mass unblocking. I'm never going to have those people in my life, professionally or personally. And I'm there to say some things. That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of had this approach with it. Like, there's multiple wars in the world right now. We have much more important things to worry about and concentrate on right now, right? We got
tampon outrage.
Yeah, we had the guy from the food bank on. He happens to be a friend of mine, works at the food bank, Doug. And I said, you know what? You got to go back and look at the numbers and just give us like 10 years. So 10 years ago on a monthly basis, the food bank in Edmonton was serving 13,500 people. We are now closing in on 40,000 people. Yeah. That is a disgusting increase in the number of people that are reliant on the food bank. I mean, we got bigger fish to fry. I remember having a conversation with my daughter. This was only a couple of years ago when she was home and she needed me to stop at the store and get tampons. And I said to her, no. And this was my stance on this is, Father of the Year material here. But I'm in the Arby's drive-thru getting a beef and cheddar. And my daughter wants me to just walk into Sobeys and grab some tampons. Listen, I don't have a problem with tampons and the fact that she needs them, that's fine. And if you told me if I'm going grocery shopping and I got to get milk and I got to get, some sandwich meat and some tomatoes and some bananas and a head of lettuce and, steaks for the weekend barbecue. And it just happens to be on the list that I got to get a box of tampons. I will have no problem putting that in the basket and going through the checkout.
But you're not just getting just tampons?
Shopping at Sobeys. Walking to the... Here's my thing. You are
Dude, I have bought tampons.
Your responsibility.
Have you not gone and got feminine hygiene products for your wife? Like, has she not
said,
hey, go get me?
Because she takes
She's
care
prepared.
of that. She's always prepared.
I have been asked by my ex. I've also, and this is years and years and years ago, every woman I've ever been with, I have said, yeah, I'm happy to go get you some tampons, Max, whatever you fuck, don't care. Happy to do it. Hey, honey, can you go in my purse and grab?
I've literally bought it maybe 3 times in my life, and I'm 53.
Dude, I've done it probably a dozen times.
Take care of this, and they should be responsible for taking it.
In the last 8 months, I bet you I have retrieved a tampon 6 times.
Are you kidding me?
I don't care. Hey, I'm on the way home. Can you get some? Yeah, for sure. Happy to, honey.
Not me.
Absolutely. No problem. Go in, know which kind to get. She just sends me a picture of the thing, and I'm like, yeah, happy to get it. I don't care. Happy to do it. Happy to help.
Not me.
Happy to help you.
That's your thing. I
love you. Happy to help you.
No, not me.
Care. Well, what's your hang up with getting tampons in?
Like, you want to
only, it doesn't matter if it's not yours.
There's too many selections. There's absorbencies. There's sizes. I don't want to have to ask. I'm going to get the wrong ones. It's not my responsibility. You
Dude,
deal
what
with
if
that
you-
shit.
What if your wife sends you a list and she's like, on this list are 2 things? Because I'm getting what you're doing. You'll get tampons as long as you can bury the tampons underneath like 15
Yes.
other items. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
That means you're embarrassed to get tampons. Like it's some kind of beta male move
I'm
to go
sorry.
get your wife feminine hygiene products. It is not.
I'll put
It's
it.
an
I'll put
alpha
it in
move.
the. If I'm getting it, like a
It's an alpha
4-gallon
move.
jar of pickled eggs, like some beef jerky,
And you'll bury some tampons
bagels.
underneath it. Yeah.
I'll slip it into there, but I'm not getting out of the car, walking into the store, and I'm not alone, and I don't care.
Are you serious?
I don't care. Yes, I am not alone.
Men
we
will
side
side
with me on
straw
this.
poll about dudes. Like, will you buy your wife feminine hygiene products? Or if you're in the
Put it
nation's
out.
capital, let's get people to answer it in the comment section. If you're in the nation's capital and your wife says to you, I need tampons and I need them now, or pads, whatever, Diva Cup, lots of different solutions. A sponge with a stick.
I don't even know what a Diva Cup is. What is that? Did
It's
you just make
a
that up?
menstruation cup. No. It's true. It's a menstruation cup that fits inside your hoo-ha that collects all the fluid, and then you empty it
And it
out,
just-
and then you clean it
just
and you put it
floats.
back in.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
called a
sound very
Diva Cup.
absorbent.
No, it's not. It's a collection device, not an absorption device, right? So
Okay.
it's the 2 different functions, but kind of does the same thing. A lot of women use them, and they swear by them. Yeah, a lot of people self-checkout. I bet you 9 out of 10 men, real men, not beta men like you, not betas, sigmas.
No,
Alphas.
I'm telling you right now, do a proper poll on your Twitter. On your Twitter, mind you, you've blocked anybody that would side with me.
9,237.
If people are being honest with themselves, they're not going to Sobeys after a beef and cheddar to grab their daughter tampons. They're not. And I am okay with my decision to tell my daughter that
to
she
not
needed
get
to get
tampons was
herself.
predicated on you looking at the beef and cheddar. Maybe that was it. I think you're weak.
That's a
I
true
think
story too,
if
by the
a-
way. I was literally
I
in
believe
the
it.
Arby's drive-through.
I believe it. I believe that people like you are weak-minded people. If you can't buy
I'm
tampons
okay with it.
and feel
Yeah,
good
call
about
me
it,
weak. Yeah.
I love that you're okay with it.
I
too.
might have been like my wife takes care of all that stuff. I don't have to worry about it, and I haven't ever, right? So there's never been an emergency need for me to run off to the store. I mean,
Fuck Dan in the comment section. He's like, they fit perfectly under a bag of Doritos. So he's gotten a bag. He's gotten some tampons for his wife because he's 100% correct. I'm not saying I don't hide them. Will I go in and get other items? Probably I'm going to get a few other.
see, you're full of shit then.
But I
You're
go
on my
get them.
side.
No, but I'll get them. I'll go solo.
But
I'll
you're
just get
going
the
in and getting
tampons.
that
Yeah, no
4-gallon
problem.
bucket of pickled eggs. You're getting something so that I picked the pickled eggs because it seems like a manly purchase.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Pickled eggs.
you
I
get-
noticed you threw beef jerky in there too.
Beef
for your-
jerky, pickled eggs, and ass wipe. That's a real man's grocery trip.
Thanks for doing this, dude. Great to see you.
Yeah. All right. brother.
At Lochlin Cross on Twitter. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. And great job with the food drive with 957 Cruise FM this week. You guys did some pretty incredible work, and you fed a lot of people in the city of Edmonton this week.
868 kilograms of food was raised by the locker room listeners. They
Huge.
stepped up, and $1,600 cash. I was trying to think of a better way to get cash next year because we were doing it.
Steal
It was, what's that?
Steal
No,
it.
I mean to donate it. Like we
Oh.
got to figure out a better way of collecting money. I'm
Dude,
gonna
just
work-
get
gonna
do
work on
do
that
it.
next year.
Homeless people now have those like bank, those little those point of sale machines. I saw
Yeah.
someone put a tweet out the other day. Homeless dude in Toronto.
I've seen
they like
that.
walked by and they're like, "Hey, I got no change." He's like, "No
They got
problem.
the square.
Go ahead and scan your card here, sir. It goes right into my bank account." They're like, "You fucking kidding me?" The guy's like, "Yeah, sure, okay." Boom, gives him $10 on this. So do that. That'll be an easier way for you to do that.
That's amazing. I don't even know where I stand with that.
I love it. You got to change with the times. And even homeless people are like, it's got to be a tech solution to
There's
my
got to be a
drinking.
tech solution to no one having cash anymore.
They're like, yeah, get a card reader. Done. I'll go
Yeah.
panhandle so I can get one of those. And they
I
do.
still have in my back pocket. I still have the I am about $500,000 in debt. card.
When you say to the guys at Panhandle, yeah, I can't give you any money.
You're probably more flush than me, so I'm unfortunately I'm not going to be able to give you any money today.
But no, great job.
I have
donate
4
your time.
mortgages.
Yeah, but you donate your time. You gave your time to feeding hungry Edmontonians. You guys did a great job. 957cruisefm.ca. That's where Lochlin works. He's the host of the morning show. It's called The Locker Room.
Back in January, we're taking away the rest of December off. Yeah.
Come on. Podcasts all week at noon, dude. Yeah. It's all right.
All right, brother. We'll touch base next week.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Lock and Cross. Give him at Lock and Cross. Give him a follow on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. And sorry, not sorry to Michelle Ferrari. She had a bad week. You don't mock things that have nothing to do with you. It's just a general rule I have now. I used to get all up in other people's shit, but it's literally the thing that's making everybody insane now is when someone, like, whether it's booze, whether it's food, whether it's vaccines, whatever. Let people make their own stupid choices. Let them suffer through those consequences. And when they turn around and blame you for all the consequences they incurred, just remind them that you told them, but you didn't want to tell them what to do. You told them what would happen, but you just didn't want to tell them because you don't like being told. Have a great day. I got to go. There's my phone. Oh, hang on. That's my kid. I'll call him back in like 5 minutes. Anyway, have a great day. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget, you can get everything we do at Crier Media. Go to crier.co. That's where you can find Muse on the Mic. It's one of our newest podcasts. And Muse on the Mic, brought to you by our friends Emily and Riley. They're the proprietors at Muse Massage Spa, Toronto's #1 body rub parlor, 1290 Finch Avenue West in the beautiful city of Toronto. Go there today. Tell Emily and Riley I said hi, by the way. I haven't been, but I plan on going and doing a podcast there with them. That's it. Swear to God. But these people are sex advocates. Their podcast is Bangarang too. You're going to love it. It's on Patreon, so you can get the real inside scoop, the juicy stuff. She doesn't hold much back on the actual podcast, Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. You can also find it at Crier Media. Go to crier.co. Give them a follow too. Muse on the Mic. Hit sub. Muse on the Mic. Muse on the Mic. Muse on the Mic. You're going to love it if you're interested in the sex works industry and massive advocates for women in that space. Safe space to work, safe space to support themselves, safe space for their families. I can guarantee you're going to love the podcast. Again, Muse on the Mic, musemassagespa.com for more details. Also brought to you by our friends at Cantork, the #1 assembly tool experts in Canada. They make rugged, hardworking, beautiful torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts, giving you the very best in sales, service, rental, calibration, maintenance, and custom fab of industrial torque tools. If you've got a bolting project and you can't find a solution, they are going to make you one. They are going to clean it up, and they're going to make sure that it is serviced properly. Doesn't matter what industry it's in. Cantork makes the best torque wrenches in the world for industry around the world. Colin, I believe, is coming back from Dubai today. Yeah, he does work everywhere. So you can trust him. He's very proud to manufacture in this beautiful country of ours. So go to cantork.com today. And, of course, brought to you by our friends at Ed's Fine Imports. His gitch is on us. It could be on you, too. Luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs, pouch in the front. Swear to God, the best underwear you'll ever buy. The pouch made for Canadians by Canadians who are a little bigger, if you know what I'm saying. A little more stuff down there. We're tougher. We're hardier people. So get this underwear. It comes in a variety of sizes, very breathable, the best band in the business, the best waistband. It never frays. They never lose their good. They never get a little loosey. I wonder if it gets loosey over that. No, I've had a pair for like 4 years. I've got a lot of pairs of them, but I've had a pair for like 4 years. Best underwear you'll ever buy. Luxury branded underwear made in Canada for Canadians by Canadians as well. FineImports.com. Go there, order online. Gitch is the name of the brand. Gitch3 is your promo code. Gitch is the number 3. And when you buy 3 or more pair, he'll send you a pair for free. So make sure you do that today. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Have an awesome weekend. And if you're off in the next couple of weeks, enjoy time with your family. This is the time for you to spend time with the people and the things that make you you. So do that. Be mindful this holiday season. See you Monday.